Marriage is optional. Marriage is optional. Marriage is optional. Marriage is optional. While people are holding up their whole life to be married,
Right.
you're missing the fact that marriage is optional. That my destiny will not be determined by marriage unless I choose to get married. If I choose to get married, then my marriage will determine my destiny. But if I choose to be in pursuit of destiny, marriage is optional. Marriage is a paradigm. While it's also optional, it's also paradigm. So men and women, don't hold up your whole life disappointed, won't travel, won't do anything for yourself, waiting for something that could never happen. And do not let the if it happened or not determine your happiness, because God is enough for you, and you got to make sure God is enough for you if marriage never happens, because marriage is
Optional. So good.
marriage is not only optional, marriage is a greatest paradigm, because marriage is the greatest attraction and the greatest distraction. Everybody wants to get married. They're attracted to the idea of marriage. But marriage, although it's the greatest attraction, can also be the greatest distraction. Because when you're single, you don't got to check in. When you're single, you spend the money you make. When you're single, you do what you want to do. You travel when you want to travel. You go where you want to go. When you're married, you cannot do what you want to do when you want to do it, the way you want to do it, how you want to do it. You got to now check in with somebody else that you hope is on the same page, because if they on a different page than you're on, they no longer become an advancement, they become a distraction.
So good.
Marry the wrong person, and all of a sudden the stuff you was doing you can't do no more. The things you were creating, every time you go to write your book, they like, why you in the behind the computer again? And every time you go to make some music, like, you in the studio again. No, you need to get some business, because I was in the studio and I was on the computer when I met you. That's why you was attracted to me. But now that you ain't have no business yourself, now you want to pull me out of what I was born to do, because now it's the greatest distraction. This is why Paul said, if I could speak by permission, if you was like me, I'd rather that you do not be married. He's not saying that marriage isn't good. He's just saying too many people get married because they're attracted to the wedding, not attracted to the marriage. And so they get attracted and get married by the attraction and then end up distracted. Then your friends, they all know, because they looking at you like, when you were single, you got your hair cut. When you was single, you used to get your hair done. You was smiling. Now you just,
looking like
you look a mess now. What's wrong with you? You lost yourself. What happened to your...
So good.
Marriage is a paradigm. Y'all okay? Marriage is the greatest joy. You gonna help me? Marriage is the greatest joy. Marriage is the greatest joy, and marriage is the greatest
pain.
Oh, come on, don't act like you ain't no Frankie Beverly. You sinners up in here. Sit up here and act. The song came on right now. You'll know it like the joy and pain. Because marriage can either give you the greatest joy of your life,
or the greatest pain.
Or the greatest pain in your life. Bob Marley said, no woman, no cry.
No.
Bob Marley said, I ain't cried till I got me a woman. I was good. I ain't shed a tear. Don't shed no tear. No woman, no cry. That man was a strong man till a woman came. He's like, girl, you got me crying. Some men ain't cried their whole life till a woman came into their life. No woman, no cry. No woman.
Oh my God.
Marriage can be the greatest joy, and it can be the greatest pain. Marriage can be a dream or a nightmare. This is the marriage I always wanted. This is not the marriage that I always wanted.
That I thought about.
People was dreaming. Then they got married. Then they have a nightmare. Now you're recovering from the nightmare of your marriage.
Right.
Like, oh man, I should have stayed single if I'd have known this. But you didn't know that, because it's not marriage. There are no bad marriages. There are people who get married that treat each other bad.
Right. And have bad ingredients, which is a whole nother That's another thing, because it's like if you start with bad ingredients, you can't even like not go down the road of having a bad product. If you start a cake with bad ingredients, I don't care what else you try to put in that cake, when you bake it, it's still gonna be nasty because you started out with bad ingredients. And so it's not necessarily that marriages are bad, it's just that you didn't do the work as an individual, so then when you come together, because God's contract is his contract, and how he computes everything stays the same, it's gonna 10 times itself. So what you bringing together, you bringing bad ingredients, bad things together, and it's 10 times in itself.
Marriage is full of hope, and it's full of fear. When you standing on that altar to get married, you got both emotions. People say, it's not a good wedding unless you laugh and cry. Why are you laughing? Because you hoping. Why are you crying? Because you're not sure. You're like, I hope they be everything they said they was gonna be. I hope this is for better and for worse, for richer and for poorer. I got some money now, so I'm not sure. So it's like fear is the antithesis of working on the other side. And so marriage in wrong perspective becomes now the greatest hope or the greatest fear. And so marriage is optional. And so the thing is, while people are longing to get married, make sure that you want to be married.
Right.
Not get married. Tell your neighbor, tell them, be married. Don't get married.
Because people put more into a wedding than they put into their marriage. Spend thousands of dollars on a day for a couple of hours and did no investment, no reading, no research, no trying to figure out, how am I going to be married? How am I going to take care of a house? How am I going to lead? What books have you read to invest in the place that you're trying to go? So you're going to be trying to pull from something that you never really invested in. All you invested in was a debt of a dress and a reception and people and all the other kind of stuff. But we put more inside of a wedding than we do inside of a marriage. And if you see that you're leaning more toward the wedding than the marriage, then you're in a very rough spot, and you need to reevaluate, because the marriage is what's going to sustain you for the rest. The wedding is only for a day.
Wedding is a day. That'll make single people shout. And married people shout as well, because the thing is, it's your option on what it becomes. Right. All right, so let's get into it a little bit. What a woman wants, what a man needs. Women want a man
that will lead.
A
woman wants a man that will lead, that will not. It does not mean that you have all of the answers. It just means that when it comes time to make a decision, sir, make the decision. We can't keep vacillating over this. Over and over again. Let's have a meeting, and then when we get finished with our meeting, and then I give my input, you go ahead and you be the man and you lead. And I know leading takes a lot of responsibility, and it takes a lot of strength, and it takes a lot of courage. That's why I'm here as your helpmate, to pray that God gives you courage, to pray that God gives you strength. But I need you to go out front, and I need you to lead, sir. I need you to lead. Need you to lead the family. Need you to lead my life. Need you to lead the vision. I need you to lead. Because there's nothing worse than being in a marriage with a man who's doing this. And the Bible says a man that is unstable, a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. So you trying to figure out, it's different when it was just you. Because when you feed you fed your whole family. But when you get married, you got to feed me, you got to feed the children, you got to feed everybody. So I need you to be straight. Even if you make the wrong decision, God is going to bless you, because we're on one accord, but we can't get on accord if you don't make the decision.
The ladies shouting over that.
That's sexy. Yeah. Leadership is sexy, sir.
Is it?
Yeah.
What you want me to lead? What you want me to do something?
Stop it. You're making the kids uncomfortable.
Women want a man that can lead, and men want a woman who will help. Nothing worse than having somebody attached to your life that won't help you. See you working, see you thriving, see you striving, working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, you're sitting at home watching Real Housewives. I mean, it's nothing worse, nothing more annoying, nothing more difficult to lead while you have no help.
It's sad.
It's sad.
I mean, that just really hurt me, just to think that somebody is leading and then there's no help.
Well, the problem is there's always help, because women are designed to help. It's just, is your wife helping you?
Yeah, I know. Because somebody going to help them.
Because Some woman gonna help a man. It just should be his wife. And there's nothing like him getting help at the office and no help at home. Nothing like having secretaries, admins, assistants, workers, people assigned, especially if your man is in leadership, right, that he can get more out of his staff than he can out of you.
Right.
It's a setup.
Right. Because as a woman, especially if your husband is in leadership, it does not mean that you have to do everything, because Proverbs 31 woman did not do everything. She just knew how to delegate what needed to be done. So early on in our marriage, you know, I would tell people, no, you don't have to make my husband nothing. I got this. I got all of this. So if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to find somebody who's going to do it, but it's going to be my find. Nobody else's find.
I love it.
So that's how you help. If you can't do everything, that's no problem, sir. I'm your helpmate. I'm going to find and qualify the person that's going to help you.
I love delegating things through my wife. I love it. She has the ability to delegate. She can delegate 15 things at one time. There's 18 text messages going on at the same time. She can do it all, keep track of it. I'm like, I just want to talk to you. Like, do we know what we do? Yeah, we know. It's all done. Okay, thank you. I don't know who did it, how it get done, because she has the ability to help. So she gets the people to help, and help helps. And then when the help, you feel your help coming on. All right, Ephesians 5:22. Wives, understand, support your husband in ways that show support for Christ. The husband provides leadership in that way Christ does his church, not by domineering, but by cheering. So just as Christ submits to Christ as he exercises such leadership, wives likewise submit to their husbands. Husbands, go all out in love for your wife, exactly as Christ did the church. A love marked by giving, not by getting. Christ's love makes the church whole. His words invoke her beauty. Everything he does and says is designed to bring the best out of her. See this motto? Dressing her in dazzling white silk and radiant with holiness. And it is how to love their wives. They're really doing themselves a favor since they're already one in marriage. No one abuses his own body, does he? No, he feeds it and pampers it. That's how Christ treats us, the church, since we are part of his body. And this is why a man leaves his father and his mother and cherishes his wife. No longer two, but they become one flesh. This is a huge mystery. We don't pretend to understand it all. What is the clearest way for me to say Christ treats the church? This is to provide a good picture on how a husband is to treat his wife, loving himself in loving her, and how each wife is to honor her husband. That's that Bible. Get a Bible a hand. Hallelujah. Can't nobody say, I don't know what to do. Boom! I ain't see my daddy do it. Boom! I grew up in a one-parent. Boom! Read your Constitution. It's all there, right? So when it comes to it, God is clear about these roles, how they function, and the goal is, I want to meet and exceed your expectation.
That you rise up every day trying to exceed their expectation. That I know what you want, but I try to exceed it. Some days it works, some days it doesn't.
But you try.
So
one thing so I know it's often said that what men want most is sex. That's true. But one thing that is very true. We're going to get to that. I'm not even going to lie. It's going to be true, right? One thing that men want more than sex in a woman is a thing that women find hard to give. Respect. Men need respect. Men need respect. Need respect, not want respect. Men need respect, and women need love. Women need respect. Men need respect. Women need love. The Bible does not tell a woman to love her husband. Mm-hmm. Tells a man to love his wife, and tells a woman to respect her husband. There's nothing like a man that has been disrespected.
He's emasculated.
He's emasculated. Boyd.
He's Boyd.
He's Boyd.
And the interesting thing about disrespect for a man, when he's married, you can see it on him.